Q&A. I am Renata, nutrition coach over at Nourish with Renata, and I am joined by the incredible Coach Mack. How's it going?
Thank you. Yes, everyone. I am Coach Mack, and I am the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women feel like themselves again, one small step at a time.
Love it. Okay, so today's question I think is so pertinent for us as we're about to head into the holiday season. So as you guys know, oftentimes with the holidays upcoming, we're around lots of people. There's tons of social activities going on, and many times there's alcohol involved. Well, for myself and for so many others, we're really conscious about our alcohol intake. I personally don't drink alcohol. I know many people that are trying to reduce the amount of alcohol they consume. So with the holidays coming up, Mac, what can we do to still feel comfortable in social situations, even if we don't want to drink alcohol?
Love this question. So as an alcohol lover, not going to say addict because I'm not. I have an alcohol challenge or a sober challenge in my health coaching membership called Fit by Bit. Every year we do Sober October to reevaluate our relationship with alcohol. So coming off of that, I feel like this is extra pertinent for the holidays. And I will say a few things in general about our alcohol use is that number one, yes, Americans are a lot of us are consuming alcohol. And I would say, like Renata said, it's in the majority, it's in social settings. So it's to have a good time, it's to loosen up, to let your guard down, things like that, get comfortable with people, get to know people. And it is absolutely possible to do all of those things without alcohol. So if your main thing about it is the fear of, well, other people will be uncomfortable if I'm not drinking, first of all, that's a them thing. That's not a you thing. So take that into consideration first, is that, are you drinking to make someone else feel comfortable, even though it makes you uncomfortable? Don't do that. Just don't drink. You can blame it on us. Be like, my coaches, Renata and Coach Mack, they said, do not drink. So I'm following their rules. Blame it on us. Seriously, if you need an excuse, blame it on us. Just from watching this, blame it on us. We have heavy shoulders. We have whatever that phrase is, broad shoulders. We have broad shoulders. But also the second thing is now our younger generation, so I'm pretty sure it's Gen Z, is actually drinking less than previous generations. And so there are tons and tons of new activities and sober bars and things like that. So there are plenty of activities that you can find that don't involve alcohol. So that's kind of a bonus. If you are able to plan the activity yourself, you can do it at one of those places or arrange for there to be other drinks available. And that actually brings me to kind of my third point is you can find tons of non-alcoholic boozy thing. They're obviously not boozy if they're non-alcoholic, but like replicas, I guess, drinks, NA drinks, I actually have one of my favorite for Sober October. It's called Toast. I'll link to it in the comments, but it's basically is like a wine, but it's not alcoholic and it tastes delicious, but you can get all kinds of different fun cocktail mixes and things like that. And if you're out somewhere, the bartender will know tons of alcohol-free recipes for you. So you can still look like you're drinking. You can get NA beers, like O'Doul's, things like that. So it still feels like you're in the atmosphere and like in the socialization part of things and not drinking and not kind of sacrificing your standards or your health desires and things like that, just to make other people around you feel comfortable. So go into the holidays knowing that you get to choose if you want to drink or not. And it's nobody else's, you don't have to explain yourself to other people. I know Renata and I have talked before about if you say that you're not drinking, people are like, oh, are you pregnant? Or are you on antibiotics? Like it's only one of those two things. There couldn't be another reason, right? It's just people assume that. So go into it knowing what your goals are for the holidays and just stick to them. And then, like I said, worst case scenario, blame it on your coaches.
Yes, we all have shoulders, so yes. we can take it.
So what are your thoughts on it, especially given that you don't drink?
Yes, so I have not drunk alcohol for probably like 5-6 years now. And so that was a personal choice, as I'm sure with many people, there are different circumstances as to why they perhaps don't drink. And so I don't, because I don't like the way that it makes my stomach churn, not because I literally drank so much that I had to throw up, but just, even with like one drink. So it really affected my energy, my well-being. And so that's why I chose not to continue drinking. And I will say, just like you mentioned, many people are like, oh my gosh, you're not drinking? Are you pregnant? What's going on? You can tell me. Like, and it becomes like this whole thing. Or on the flip side, it can become almost like this peer pressure situation where people are like, you can just have one drink. Come on, for me. And I don't necessarily like that kind of peer pressure. So if you're feeling very much pressured around the holidays to be drinking and you don't want to, please know that you can always reach out for help at any time. Either Mac and I would love to support you in this. Now, in terms of tangible tips, I have several. Here we go. You ready? Okay, so number one, there are many things that look like alcoholic drinks that are not alcoholic drinks. So Mac mentioned some great brands. Nowadays, I agree. There's so many non-alcoholic beverages that are wonderful for these kinds of social situations. And often people are like, ooh, I want to try that. What does it taste like? So it becomes a fun way to bond with people too. A really easy thing to do is if you take, Mac, you know the term for this, but like the shorter glasses that might be they
The
put like,
rocks glass.
Thank you. Thank you. See, you know all the lingo.
Former bartender here.
Yeah. So you can ask for like sparkling water and a lime or a mint leaf in that kind of glass, or, you know, whatever you want to drink. And it looks like you're having an alcoholic beverage without you having to, you know, shout out to everybody that you're not. And so that might be a really easy first step into this instead of being outwardly telling others, actually, I don't want to drink and I feel really uncomfortable. And so I don't want to tell you. Okay, so the second thing is mocktails. I've been seeing so many restaurants with mocktails on the menus. Like, I love a good mocktail. And so there's so many different kinds, and they're really, once again, like plays on traditional cocktails. One thing too, if you are concerned about the amount of sugars that they use in the alcoholic or the non-alcoholic beverages, also talk to the bartender, ask them, can they leave out the simple syrup? Can they sub it for agave or honey or something like that? And usually bartenders are super nice and amazing, and they want to accommodate your needs. So look at the mocktails menu, see if there's something you want to try. Alternatively, go with a kombucha. It's good for your gut. It tastes amazing. Okay, third tip, and this is a fun one, is find a friend. And so I was having this conversation with a client the other day, and she said that she had a friend who knew that she wasn't drinking, but that she didn't want to divulge it to everybody. So they were in Japan and they were pouring like sake shots. And of course, it would be rude to not have the shot. So basically, what would happen is her amazing friend would then take her sake shot and fill her up with water. And so it would look like she was taking a shot, but she really wasn't. And her friend was getting doubly imbibed.
That's a good friend.
Yeah. Or alternatively, find a friend that's also not drinking, and then you guys can stick together. So having support, having a community, or just someone else that can be there for you can make this transition so much easier and help you to feel more committed to your particular goals, whatever they may be. So that's what I do. And I hope that it does help you if you're feeling the pressure of having an alcoholic beverage, especially during the holiday season.
Such good tips. And you actually touched on a really good one, being a former bartender, and you mentioned talking to the bartender. So if you're in a situation where like someone might be buying you drinks where you're not actually ordering it, you can talk with the bartender beforehand and say, you know, like, hey, I'm hosting this group of people, you know, business or holiday, whatever it is. Like, if anybody offers to buy me a drink, can you make mine this, like your whatever your non-alcoholic thing is? That way, if your friend or whoever, and you don't want to tell them that you're not drinking, orders you a drink, the bartender knows, hey, make mine not alcohol, you know, make mine this way. And they're totally down to do that. They will help you out. I mean, that, like Renata said, bartenders are there. They want to have you have a great evening. They want to provide a great service. So do that in advance. And then from there on out, they'll make all of your drinks the way that you want, non-alcoholic. So great question, though. Thank you so much for bringing it to our Q&As, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Yes, and tip your bartenders.
Yes, tip your bartenders.